Wonderful. Because we will be sending out this recording to anybody who couldn't join us and for anybody who wants to go back and listen in. All righty, so let's start. I wanted to give a little bit of a background on the Success Partnership for folks who are new to the Success Partnership and our work, and just a reminder of where we're at. Oh, I'm hearing feedback.
If everyone could please mute their self.
Yes, I would appreciate that. Oh, I don't hear any feedback anymore. So something worked. Wonderful. All righty. So this is just a little bit of background information on the Success Partnership, who we are, what we're here to do, and as well as just provide some updates and developments that have happened since we last met. The Success Partnership represents a cross-sector of community partners who've come together to address education inequities in Doña Ana County. The Success Partnership is a robust network of educators, nonprofit partners, families, business owners, elected leaders, and other community stakeholders. Some achievements of the Success Partnership have included the launch and support of the Doña Ana County Early Childhood Education Coalition and its Gadsden chapter, with a focus on 3 areas. Children are born into healthy homes, children are ready for school, and the early childhood education workforce is supported. With our funders and your support, the Kindergarten Through Career Coalition was developed and launched in November of 2021 with a convening of over 40 participants. In the ensuing months, community learning sessions were developed and launched to identify existing efforts in the county that can inform our Kindergarten Through Career strategic planning. This year, we will be engaging in strategic planning to develop short, medium, and long-term outcomes, measures, key strategies, and deep dive into community partnerships that address the intended goals of the Kindergarten Through Career Coalition, with an emphasis on unifying efforts to address them through a data-informed approach, through the wonderful support and help of NMSU Center for Community Analysis. The goals we will be pursuing in this coalition are: students succeed academically in healthy schools, and equitable access and success in higher education and career. And with that, I will pass it on to the director of the Center for Community Analysis, Erica Sarova, who will walk us through the activity we'll be doing today.
Thanks, Abir. Okay, sorry, could we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So this is our strategic planning roadmap. And shout out to Michelle for making such a great image. So the first step in the process is defining common language and terms. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today in the breakout rooms. So when we think about the 2 overarching goals, students succeed academically in healthy schools, and equitable access and success in higher education and career, how do we define that as a group? When we say, students in a healthy school, what does a healthy school look like? What does succeeding academically look like? And so in the breakout rooms, we're going to be breaking that down. And then the next step in the process, in our following meetings, we'll be looking at using those goals to set short, medium, and long-term outcomes. And the next step in the process is setting the objectives of the coalition. So thinking about who and what we expect to influence. And this process between establishing the outcomes and setting the objectives, it might be an iterative process where we're going back and forth and kind of ironing out our definitions and our expectations. But from there, we'll move into defining the measures, the indicators, and the different outputs. So really focusing on how we're going to measure our progress towards these overarching goals. And then setting our strategies and activities. What types of activities are we going to do, making sure all the while that they align with our outcomes and our overarching goals. And then the process is going to be ongoing, as you see in the circle on the left. So the data collection, the evaluation, revising these this roadmap as needed is also a part of the process. So it's really an ongoing process that we're going through that is just making sure that we stay on track and are achieving what we set out to do. So anyone have any questions about that or anything related? Any thoughts, ideas?
Well, if there aren't any questions, I think we're good to transition into our breakout rooms.
Great. Thanks, Sabir. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, Erica.
No problem.
Okay, I will be opening all of the breakup rooms now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, it looks like everybody's back. Welcome back. We are so excited to hear about the rich conversations you had in your breakout rooms. Now I'm going to ask each facilitator from the breakout rooms to give us a couple of highlights from the conversations they had in their rooms. We'll start with breakout room 1, and their facilitator was Summer.
Great. And I'm starting a 2-minute timer for everyone. So it's the phone being rude, not me.
Oh, Summer, one moment, please. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. Candace is sharing in the chat the breakout rooms Jamboards. So you can all take a look at the conversations and the posts that people put in as we talk as well. Thank you. Sorry, Summer, go ahead, right ahead.
No worries. Okay, so for what is a healthy school, our group came up with everyone is welcome in a safe environment. Services are available to all, free meals for all, parent involvement, open door policies, wraparound services for students and families on site. For what is academic success, we have increased grade level excellence, opportunities to be challenged, hands-on experience, relatable knowledge outside of the school. For what does equitable access and success mean in higher education? Equitable access to services for teachers, students, and families like tutoring, financial aid, and scholarships. Individualized curriculum, and also access to materials and equipment, books, internet, and computers, etc. And finally, for what does equitable access and success in a career mean, we came up with equitable access to a living wage, knowledge, and access to career opportunities, community and worker-driven supports for families and students who do not have family support, so that I didn't finish that, so that they know what's out there for them. Basically, you don't know what you don't know, so how can we increase the opportunities for those increase opportunities for those people to understand what's out there and have that more widespread. And that's all we had.
Awesome. Thank you, Summer, very much. And to everybody in room 1. All right, now moving on to breakout room number 2. Esther, would you like to give a couple of highlights from your room?
Ceci, did you want to proceed or do you want me to do that?
I'll go.
Okay, thank you.
So for the first one, what is a healthy school? We have healthy food options, wraparound services, access to mental health services in school, healthy teachers, healthy students, quality curriculums for students, and time to play and interact. For our second question, what is academic success? Graduation rates, making milestones, reading level, math skills, etc. More funding for teachers so that they don't have to pay out of pocket, and they're able to provide the best materials for their students, prepare for college or career, being able to treat each other, to teach another person what they have learned, standardized test scores, and then they put sometimes, parenthesis sometimes, feelings and attainment, confidence, ability, success in their next steps in life, college, trade, school, job, etc. And then there's also an interesting question here. It says, are schools successful even if many students fail or drop out? So that was a interesting question. The third one, what does equitable access and success in higher education mean? School zoning, every student should have the same opportunity as any other student, able to afford higher education and be successful, diversity in staff that can model to marginalized students. There is a place for them in higher education, importance of representation, and success graduation rates in relation to the community. The fourth one, what does equitable access and success in career mean? So the one that stood out the most was that in order for higher ed to be equitable and successful to their students, it has to start within their own faculty, that this faculty have that, and professors have that opportunity to be equitable within their own departments, and success and professionalism in itself as an educator, diverse leadership, fair labor practices, affordable insurance options, individual needs and diversity is valued, job advancement options, and pay negotiation, childcare for parents, and flexible schedules.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cecia. All righty, we have a couple of minutes left for the share outs. Moving on to breakout room 3, and that was Michelle's group. Would you like to give us some brief highlights from your room?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the first slide, some things that we saw were cultural relevance in the curriculum really need to be taught. Overall support for teachers, kids, families, community, really wrap around services that, incorporate the community and everybody in the whole learning process, and just a lot more community and family involvement in general. For the second slide, we saw a need for students to achieve personal goals, not just academic goals, so focusing on personal goals as well. Strength-based models of learning. Students should feel like agents in their own learning. Students should feel truly engaged in their learning, and the possibility of having more career days for kids to explore different options. And for our third slide, equitable access gives students what they need specifically to succeed. Educating families on support services. Success ensures grads are ready to enter the workforce with skills they need to be successful. And for the last slide, career mentorship, share different options for students, not just college, and encourage students to explore and accept the fact that it's okay to change and to try new things.
Wow, that's awesome, Michelle. Thank you. All right. Moving on to breakout room number 4. Erica Sarova was the facilitator, but Dr. Seiss is their spokesperson. Please.
Yes, and thank you. I know we've got little time, and what we have on our pages very much reflects a lot of what's already been said. So I'm just going to try and highlight at least one thing from each section. So what is a healthy school? There was a lot of discussion around inclusivity, especially around physical and psychological safety. What is academic success? The culturally responsive teaching, I know culture has already been mentioned, but I think that's a really important one to highlight, along with helping families navigate our systems, can be really paramount for academic success. What does equitable access and success to higher education mean? There were a lot of great comments about this, but I think it's really the one that I would highlight is the access and success are two different things that need to separate when we're defining them. I think really starting there could be extremely helpful. What does equitable access and success to career mean? There was some discussion around soft skills and which is also now the big thing is social emotional learning. It's the exact same thing. And I was explaining before we ended that that's really about working towards these competencies that equal higher emotional intelligence, which is tons of research in businesses and community our community partnership people are really needing and wanting. And I think that was it. Sorry, I went really fast.
No, that's great. Thank you so much, Dr. Seiss. And I just wanted to
Absolutely.
mention, thank you to everybody that all the information that was shared today from the breakout rooms will be consolidated to create definitions. So all this information will be available after our meeting and will be sent out sometime next week. So you can really reflect on it, review it, and provide any other feedback. With that being said, we're going to be wrapping up our meeting since we are very respectful of your time and the hour that you've given us out of your day. Just to let you all know that Candace or Summer will be dropping a link to a very brief survey on Google Forms. And basically we're asking the question, how was this process for you? And how can we do better? What areas can we improve on? What went well, what didn't? So your honest feedback would help us serve you better and help serve our community better. So we really appreciate your feedback. And it's super brief. I think it's like 4 questions? Yeah, super brief to do that. And following this meeting, as I mentioned, we will be sending out the notes with the definitions that you all have come up with, and then we will set our next meeting date to continue this strategic planning conversation as well. Thank you all very, very much for your time. We greatly appreciate it, and we look forward to engaging with you again. Thank you.